Hi, I'm Laura from 5 out of 4 Patterns and welcome to Sewing School. Today we begin talking about gathering. Over the course of the next couple of videos, you'll find different ways to gather your fabric. But today we're going to start with the traditional way to gather our fabric. In fact, it's not just the traditional way, it's the proper way, and it's the most complete, foolproof way to get a quality gather. Let's get started. So here we are. I've got our just a scrap piece of fabric here just to give you the basics of how to achieve a gather kind of the traditional way. And the traditional way is to do 2 rows of stitches. Many times I have tried to skip this and do kind of a quick, easy method, especially if I have a lot of fabric that I'm working with. But what I find is that every single time I come back to this because it's just so beautiful. So the first thing we're going to do is on our sewing machine, we're going to change our stitch length to 5. Now on my sewing machine, I don't have to mess with the tension at all. I just move the stitch length to 5. Everyone's machine is different, so you'll need to get to know your machine a little bit. But once you've done that, you will do 2 rows of stitches at the top of your garment or of your piece of fabric here. One at 1/4 of an inch and one at 1/2 an inch. And I'm going to go do that and I'll be right back. So here we've got our 2 rows of stitching. And make sure, one of the things that's very, very important is that you have decently long tails on either side of your stitch. You can see how wide the stitch length is. It's a 5. It's going to make it much easier to scoot the fabric down. But I'm going to separate these threads. The front threads and the back threads. You can work from the back or the front, it's up to you, but you're just choosing the whichever thread goes with the side you're working with. So I'm currently working with the front, so I'm going to take the threads that are on the front, on the side that I'm working at, and that's where I'm going to begin to gather. And I'm going to hold on to both of them, and I wrap it around my finger as I go, just it gives me stability and I like it. And so you can see that I'm easily getting some gathers here. It's not difficult at all. And what you also see is they're tight and they just look nice and full. And once I get about halfway through, depending on how much fabric I have to do, I will go to the other side of this, still using from the front, but I will then work my way to the center, just like I did before. And there you have it. Now, at this point, you will follow the instructions in your pattern, whatever garment you are working on, and you will assemble your skirt or your dress or your ruffle, however your pattern states. But that is the basics of the traditional gathering method. So there's the proper technique to get a really nice, complete, finished look of a gather. We all want our garments to look nice and finished and professional, and I really do believe that this is the way to get that look with a gather. We can try to save time doing it other ways, which is okay, and there's definitely a place for that, as we're going to show you a couple of those ways in the next couple of videos, but it really is important to know the proper technique when doing a gather.